Well, I think we might make a start. It is being recorded, so if people have missed the beginning of it, then they can probably catch up with the recording. The first ones from last week have gone out already to are ready to be uploaded and shared with family. So this one will be available early next week, or at the end of this week even. So my name's Anna Butler. I'm the principal of this fantastic school, and it's my great pleasure to introduce you to the fabulous team who run Muglu Hub and work with your children. So we've got Mr. Healy, Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Miss Tran. And so without further ado, I'm going to hand over to them. Oh, actually, I might just remind you, if you have any questions throughout the this evening, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. Don't use the raise your hand because there's no way for us to be able to have you speak on here with the way we've set it up. So if you have a question, use the Q&A and we will endeavour to answer questions throughout the presentation. So don't wait till the end, although there will be a Q&A time at the end. If you've got a question throughout, then please add it in. There's people waiting in the background to answer questions for you. So I'll hand over now to Miss Tran, who's going to start off the presentation this evening. But welcome again, everyone. You're in very good hands with this fantastic team.
Welcome to our Meet the Teacher evening. I'm Miss Tran, and I'm just going to So I'm just going to give you a little bit about myself. This is my 7th year at teaching. Things I enjoy about teaching, I like integrating technology into my lessons. I like literacy, I like maths, I like the creative arts. So I like exploring a lot of different areas in teaching and learning. As for things about me personally, I am someone who's very enthusiastic about cameras. So I do like my instant cameras and my devices. So as we understand that some of you were not able to come on site due to the restrictions. On the first day of school, you may have received a little photograph of your students. And yeah, I'm going to throw you off to Mr. Healy now.
Hey everyone, Mr. Healy. I've been teaching for, this is my 7th year also, which is pretty exciting. I love what I do. The students, they'll come home, hopefully they tell you all about what I do as well. I love my golf. Golf is my passion as well as my job. I love what I do. I love being in the classroom. I love maths, teaching maths, English. I love everything about the hub, the great space that we've got there at Denham Court Public School. It's fantastic and I'm looking forward to for the term. Over to you, Miss Reddy.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Mrs. Reddy, also known as Mrs. Smith sometimes. So I go by my maiden name, Mrs. Reddy, and I'm the relieving Stage 1 AP this term. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm speaking to you today on Darrawal land in the Sutherland Shire. And as such, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. So as I mentioned, I am the relieving Stage 1 assistant principal this term, but I'm really looking forward to teaching in the Muglu Hub next term alongside Mrs. Tran. In my role this term, I have been able to get to know the students in Muglu Hub really well, and I'm absolutely delighted to be one of their teachers. So for the remainder of this term, I'll be working really closely with Mrs. Tran and with Mr. Healy to ensure a smooth transition, because regretfully, Mr. Healy will be leaving us at the end of the term as he's secured a permanent position at another school. And I know all the staff and all the students will be so sad to see him leave, but we really wish him well in his future endeavours. And we thank him so much for all the knowledge he's brought to Denham Court Public School this term. So a little bit about me is I have been teaching for over 10 years now. And during those years, I've worked predominantly with years 1 and 2. I've also worked as an English as an additional language teacher, and I've heavily been involved in student wellbeing. I'm a mother to 3 beautiful children. I have 1 daughter in high school and 2 younger sons. I have a very cute dog called Snoopy, who is definitely a part of the family. I absolutely love reading. I love reading fiction, non-fiction, magazines, newspaper articles, like anything and everything. And I really love learning new things. I'll throw it back over to you. Thanks.
Okay, moving on. So first of all, our school's based on these five school values. We try and teach the students about love and belonging, power, survival, freedom, and fun. So, for example, love and belonging, the idea of showing. Sorry, I've got my tongue's twisted right now.
So it's all about showing love and belonging to one another and towards each other. So it's all about, we try to embed in Muglu in our students. I'm so sorry, that is my dog barking. We try to embed in a Muglu a love and belonging of their environment and their space and of one another and towards their teachers. So everyone in Muglu feels like they belong to their hub and they get along with one another, to Muglu.
Yeah.
We also embed power in giving students a voice, so allowing them, equipping them with the skills that they need to be 21st century learners. And
the power to also communicate. Sorry, I'm jumping in as well. So such things as when they're asking for things, we do like them to have that power to communicate in full sentences, but also tell us what they need as well. Over to you, Mr. Healy.
And then we look at our survival. So we're also looking at survival there. We're looking at ensuring that students know what they need to survive, as well as the basics of just making sure that we have our eating times, we have our crunch and sip, so our fruit and veg, also going to the toilet regularly. So basic survival skills we're also embedding in our, and so what else do we need for survival? We need to know that we need to look after our environment.
We also need to have physical fitness. So we do have our sport on Tuesdays. And moving on to freedom. That is the ability to do what you want without restriction. So we give students the opportunity to learn through play and explore different situations with the equipment in the classroom, but also with literacy and numeracy, they have the opportunity to explore different activities during their learning. Throwing back to Mr. Healy again.
Yeah, and then we finish with, we have the fun there. So we're always, as well as embedding all of this into our school and what we love to do into our hub, we also love to ensure that everything they do is with a smile and they're enjoying what they're doing. So we've just started our story writing. So I know that at the moment we're starting to get really into our story writing, and we're trying to make it as engaging and as fun as possible here at Denham Court Public School.
Mm-hmm. And next thing. So this is our sorry.
Some of our weekly organisation in our timetable, you will see. So on a Thursday is our library day. So Thursday, we ask that you please bring a bag suitable to carry books in, and that's Thursday for borrowing.
So
our RFF will be Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday for some. So Miss Tran and I will have different days, some days for RFF. Our sports day is on a Tuesday, so if they could please wear their sports uniform on a Tuesday, and assembly is to be announced as we're waiting for these COVID restrictions and things like that. So we can give more information when we know.
So with sports day, we do recommend students to have their sports uniform, but also the weather may not permit it at the moment for them to go outside, but we do recommend every day for students to have their hats. So moving on to literacy and Muglu. So this is what learning is like in Muglu. So first of all, I'm going to talk about homework. So homework has a focus on what we're learning in the hub at the moment. So you would have seen that the previous fortnight homework was due after 2 weeks, and it has been changed this week to be due at the end of this week, simply because as of next week we are moving to some online programs. Now I'm not sure if Mathletics is ready yet, but we should be having our literacy online programs Wooshka ready as of next week, and this will be what students will be doing for homework. It will be related to reading and literacy activities. So also in literacy, we are implementing the new K-2 curriculum, so the new English syllabus, which has a focus on reading, phonics, and writing, and of course oral communication, because these are the building blocks of our literacy. So in order to, I've lost my words again. In order to be literate and good readers and writers, we need to understand that, yes, we need to know our sounds and our sight words, but also applying that to our work. I've kind of lost my train of thought for a second. So moving on to that, we do a lot of literacy stations. So when a normal day of literacy in Muglu would be, we would start our day with phonics. We would go through our Hegedus program, and moving on after phonics, we'll be moving into our writing. And during writing, we'll have that guided writing session. And after that guided writing session, the students will have the opportunity to do literacy stations, where Mr. Healy and I would be running our own little mini reading groups, while students will have that freedom to complete their must-do activities, such as a writing activity, a phonics and spelling activity, and then they'll have their may-do activities that they can explore, such as using iPads to read online texts, or playing literacy-based games such as phonics sorting houses, or using alphabet beads. And yeah, I'm going to move on now. Mr. Healy?
So numeracy in Muglu is using the new curriculum. So we're using the new curriculum there. So we're developing a daily number sense. So we're focusing on numbers. So we might look at some supertizing, flashing some flashcards. We then also will focus on 30 minutes of a math strand. We focus on things like data, shapes and patterns, measurement. I hope some of your students have come home and talked about AB patterns and ABC patterns. We've been doing lots of these in our class. And then within our hub, we're really lucky because we are a smaller hub. We're able to split up into some smaller groups there. And then we can do a 30 minutes where it's a numeracy games activity, where it could be based on something. For example, this week, our focus is partitioning numbers, and also counting forwards and backs for the last 2 weeks. So we're counting forwards and backs. We're able to break up into our teams and really work hard and hone in on our skills that we need to be mathematicians in our hub. Next slide, thanks, Cindy. Miss Tran, sorry.
So, as part of our normal day, we'll have our literacy and our maths, but at the end of, towards the end of the day, we'll also be focusing on project-based learning. Now, in project-based learning, students will be engaging in an integrated project. So these projects will be combining various curriculum areas such as the creative arts, history, geography, PD health, and science. And there will be a project each term for students to work on in school, building upon their critical thinking skills and their creativity, which has a driving question that they are working towards solving. So this term, our driving question is, how can I play a part in creating an awesome Denham public school? Part of our project this term, we have been exploring students' uniqueness. We've been exploring the school values as well as our learning spaces. And in this project this term, we have started with creating posters about how students can use these learning spaces in the school. Then we moved on into creating a self-portrait to celebrate who we are and our identity. And what we have been finishing up on lately has been our classroom mural, which is reflecting not only student voice, but the things that we value as a hub in Muglu. So look out for that in future Google Loop posts. So moving on, this is what it looks like in Muglu at the moment, and this is an example of some of our student self-portraits. And for those of you who are wondering what it looks like in Muglu, this is what our hub looks like. These are examples of our learning spaces. Mr. Healy.
You can see here some of our learning spaces that we have set up for Muglu. Again, as I said, we've got the luxury of being one of the smaller hubs. So up the top there, you can see that we have our hub there and where we can do some of our work, where we can use our tables in the top. That's in the top right there on the top left. You can see that we've got some play there. So we have a kitchen working on our social skills where we're able to hone in on some of our social skills there. Next slide. Perfect. And then as you can see, the space there is massive. So that this picture on the larger picture there that you can see is actually looking in from pretty much the front door, and it's quite large of the space. So you can just see how much space the students have for their learning. In the top right is the presentation room. And so in there is where we do a lot of our project-based learning lessons. That's where we take the students in there, and then we know that this is a space where we can start our lesson, and then we can split off into our larger room, again, into our learning spaces to do our project-based learning. And down the bottom there, you can see there's some of the photo has been cut off, but it's quite a large wet area with tables, so we can do some arts and crafts and project-based learning when we're constructing things. There's a large space for students to work in there to create their masterpieces. Next one.
So continuing on from that last photo that we did have kind of cut off, this is the perspective from the wet area that students have been learning from real life experiences in painting and creative arts. So as you can see, it is a very large space, and we do have the door, which is quite flexible, so we can open it up and close it if we wanted to do some small group learning. Right. Moving on, this large photo here is part of our campfire. It is where we do most of our whole group teaching, where we may share stories, where we start off our day with our phonics lessons. And then on the right-hand side, we have photos of one of our small breakout rooms, which we are using as a reading space where students can quietly read with a reading buddy and relax. Okay, so these are just some photographs and snapshots of how students have been using the spaces and what they've been doing and learning in Muglu. We've got some maths. We've also got some Just Dance, because students do enjoy that as a nice brain break and for physical fitness. Mr. Healy?
Now you can see the nice large hall that we have. We took Muglu. This is just from this week. We went there as we were doing our sport this week. So you can see us practicing our hand-eye coordinations, and we're doing some throwing and catching activities there, playing as in small groups and small teams, and we're throwing and catching, practicing, honing in on those skills. Next slide. Thanks, Cindy.
Okay, sorry, I've lost that for a bit.
There we are.
Okay,
so
class organization. So attendance. Students are expected to be in attendance at school every day. Now, if your child is unwell, then please keep them at home. And for absences, you can use the School Loop app, which can be downloaded from the Google Play or Apple Store, or contact the office if your child is unwell or absent on the day. That we will be in contact with families if you have if you have unexplained absences. We will be in contact and asking you where your child has been. Money collection. So all money payments are to be sent to the office in the morning, but there will be online payment options available too later on for anything such as excursions or even other events. Mr. Healy?
So some expectations. So we asked that could you please be punctual. The school day begins at 8:10, and I know at the moment because of all this weather. It's
Mr. Healy, you said 8:10. It's 9:10.
Oh, not 9:10. Sorry, 9:10. 9:10 school starts. Please be punctual and understand at the moment that it is very wet, so we are allowing, please just try to be there close to 9:10 as possible. If they are late past 9:10, they will need to go to the office to get a late note. We just ask that all students in our hub follow the hub's and the school's expectations. Please be an active participant in all activities. So being a learner there, we ask that all students, they be an active participant in all of the activities and things that we do. Crunch and sip, we do crunch and sip every day. So crunch and sip, it works a little bit better if the fruit, sometimes it might be either cut up fruit or vegetables or whatever you would like, but it is crunch and sip. So it's just the strictly fruit and vegetables and not things like a yogurt. So please, and just water in the water bottles. Birthdays, they are quite a large hub, so we don't recommend for a birthday to bring in cupcakes because there is 40 of us in a hub, and the learning hubs can grow even more. So, and then we also ask for some independence and self-help skills. So these are things like maybe just if they've got a raincoat in their bag, practice getting the raincoat out, popping the raincoat on, and things like that, just so they can get some self-independence for themselves, tying their shoelaces. We're there to help, yes, but it would be great to see some of our students succeeding and being great at being able to put these things on themselves. And at home, please encourage them to do that. So even if it's like just pulling the lunchbox out and opening a packet of chips, just practicing the pinch and pull, for instance, that would be a great help in the classroom for Miss Tran and I. Miss Tran.
So canteen, now we do understand that sometimes life can be quite busy and we don't have enough time to pack our student lunches. So you can order lunches for your child. You can send them with a lunch order in the morning, or you can actually access the online ordering system, which is via quickclick.com.au. And please make sure you notify your child if they are getting a lunch order on the day. We do ask students whether they have food, and if they do not have food or their lunch for the day, then we will have someone contact you via the office and find out what's going to be happening for their lunch.
Perfect. Library. So these are our two librarians. We're really lucky. We have two librarians, one that will cater for K-2 and the other for 3 to 6. So these are two pictures of this. So Miss Timmons, she does our RFF. So she will do the RFF on a Thursday with myself, and we'll be taking the students to the library. Next slide, please.
So library is part of our RFF release program. So our library day is on Thursday. So we encourage you to send your students to school tomorrow with a library bag that is waterproof and preferably made out of fabric. Now, the library is the interesting designed building located above the administration office. And what I'm going to show you on the next couple of slides should be what our library looks like. So, and this is what our library looks like. We have our fiction section. We have our learning space over here where students can have that guided learning with the screen. We have this little auditorium space where students will be seated while the librarians may conduct their lessons. And we do have some breakout rooms as well around here. Moving on. So for more information about the school, you can access the school handbook, which was handed out to you on the first couple of days of school via these magnets. So you will be able to access it via via the QR code here. And if you need to contact us, you can send an email to the school email address or call the office on this number here, and we'll try and get back to you with any concerns. Okay.
Questions? Was there any questions that we could answer either live or in the chat?
I'm actually going to stop that share just for a moment, just to see if we do have questions.
It looks like we don't have very many questions at all. We might just give it another minute, but parents, you're welcome to just sign off. Oh, sorry, we do have some coming through.
Okay. I'm actually unsure how to use the question system. So
would you like me to answer live that first question? Is the class a mix of year 1 and year 2?
we can answer that one. So currently the Muglu hub is a year 1 hub at the moment. We do understand the other stage 1 hubs are 1, 2. Now, there has been another question asking whether it's K in year 1. At the moment, we're currently just year 1. And the number of children we have in our class, we have 39 students.
It looks like we had another few attendees since the beginning. So if anyone's missed the beginning of the presentation this evening, we will be recording. We have recorded it, and we will be uploading those to share with people who missed the beginning a little later this week or early next week. So look out for those on School Loop. So there's a question there. When will children be doing maths online?
Now, for Maths Online, that will be the Mathletics program. We are still fine-tuning student logins, and that will be handed out soon.
I'm happy to answer the question about the awards program for the kids. At Denham Court Public School, we are a school that is all about celebrating learning all the time. So we actually won't be handing out we won't be doing a specific reward program as such, like many schools, but what we will do is offer the children some choice in how they have their learning recognised. So if they would like to have a sticker, they might ask for a sticker. If they want to show their work to another teacher or a student or the principal, then they'll choose to do that. If they want to upload it to show their parents, they can do that too. So it's not about a reward program that you would have seen in other schools where we're handing out little rewards where they build up to a bigger reward. We believe at Denham Court that children will feel better about their learning if it's focused on the learning and not just a cardboard award that's handed out. So it's really about children being motivated internally rather than having an external motivation to their learning. So we are training our kids to do that from a very young age, from kindergarten onwards, and hopefully that has the right effect in that they'll be self-motivated learners in the future.
Now, with homework, I do understand there was mentioned to have a reading log. Now, following this week, the homework will be an online homework, and we will have the online program Wooshka, which would be students reading. So if you'd like, you could actually put the text that he or she has written, that your child has read for the week, and you can put them in their book.
Yeah, so just with Wooshka as well, I'll just mention that classroom teachers actually have access to everything that the students are reading at home. So it is an online program that gives teachers the access. It shows the teachers what books have been read, how long it's taken students to read them, or how long they've been logged on for. There are some comprehension questions at the end of the reads as well, and teachers have access to all of that information. So by all means, like Miss Tran said, if you'd like to put it down on a homework log for your own records, that's fine. But there's no need to do that for the teachers because they can actually see all of it.
Well, it looks like we're about finished there. So if you think of any questions later after the presentation is finished, don't forget you can still email the school and send an email, and that'll be forwarded through to the teachers. We'll answer that one in writing. I'm sure there's a response going through to that question now. So I think possibly with that being the end of the questions, I just wanted to thank everyone for their attendance this evening. If you know any other parents from the hub who might need to know about this webinar, please let them know that it will be provided as a recording, and make sure that they know they can always access the information that you have accessed. Thank you for attending, and thank you for your kind feedback to us as well. Good job to our beautiful Muglu hub teachers, beautiful and handsome Muglu hub teachers, and thank you, parents. Have a great evening, and stay safe in the wet.
You can see on the slides right now that if you do have feedback in regards to the presentation today, you can just access, you can just use this QR code and give us the feedback that you would like to share. Thank you.
Thank you.